What's going on, guys? Josh Keatley here. Do you guys believe in ghosts? And I'm 100% positive that ghosts do exist. And I've had a couple experiences myself having to do with ghosts. I'm going to tell you about it in a little bit here. And I've had a lot of friends that, wouldn't lie. I can tell on their faces that they weren't lying, when they were telling their ghost stories. So it's something that definitely does exist, and I understand people that don't think it exists. I don't understand ghosts because they've never seen anything. They don't, never had a friend that told them about ghosts. The only thing they know is what they see on TV. How Hollywood depicts ghosts and cartoon ghosts about Casper. And so I understand too, but ghosts is something that definitely is real. There's thousands, millions of people that had a ghost experience. You ask almost anybody, they've had some kind of ghost experience or they know someone who has. So I mean, it's something that's definitely real, and it's something I'm interested in. It's not something that you learn when you're in high school or elementary. And I think some of the reason behind that is because they don't know. They, by like scientists, the government, they don't know exactly what ghosts are. I think there are a lot of people out there that do have a good understanding of it, but yet we really don't. Like, why are ghosts made? Where do they come from? What kind of dimension is a ghost in? Like, there's a lot of questions out there just unanswered about ghosts, spirits, just a lot of just interesting stuff. I'm really interested in that stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you my ghost story. And I remember, I never believed in ghosts, and my one friends were telling me about this gravesite that you set a can of beer on the gravesite, and the ghost would knock it off. I called bullshit. I'm like, yeah, right. There's no way that would happen. So they took me out to the graveyard, and we all went out there. We were drinking, but we weren't. We were only on a couple beers. Like, we didn't go out there drunk. It ain't something that we made up because we were drunk and we're seeing things. You don't see shit when you're drunk anyhow. But just to clarify that part of the story, and so we went out to the cemetery, and this is something that like was straight out of a scary movie. Like, you go up the hill. The cemetery is kind of on this hill, and at the top of the hill, there's a grave site that just has one name on it. I don't even remember the girl's name. I want to say Carrie, but I'm probably thinking of a scary movie, Carrie. I don't remember what the girl's name was, but it just had one name. There was no last name. It was a weird, really weird grave, and there was a fence all the way around this grave on the top of the hill. Something straight out of a scary movie. And so we all go up there. It was like three of my friends and my friend's dad. So we walked up to the gravesite, and my friend's dad sets a beer on top of the grave, and nothing happened. I was like, man, I told you guys. And it was crazy. Like, someone had the thought, well, switch beers. And I believe they switched, like, Bud Light was on there, and they switched to Natty out. It was something where I forget exactly what beer now. This is when I was like 15 years old, more than 10 years ago. And so they switched beers out, and we stood there and watched it, and it shook just a little bit, and then it fell off. We're like, it was kind of hard to believe, like could have been the wind or something, but the way it just like shook and fell off, it was definitely kind of weird. And we're like, all right, let's put it back up there. We want to see that again. And we're all arguing about who was gonna grab the beer because there's a fence around it, like kind of close to the grave. So you had to reach underneath the fence to grab the beer, and no one wanted to do that. It's kind of creepy, the beer falling off like that. Finally, my our friend's dad, he was the brave one to stick his hand underneath the fence, grab the beer, and as soon as he put his hand in there and grabbed the beer, he like tossed it in the air. And it scared the crap out of us. Like, we thought something grabbed his hand, or we didn't know. We all went running, and we got to the bottom of the hill. We're like, what happened? He's like, I don't know. I felt like a weird like tingle in my hand, and we're like, oh, okay. So we go back up there, and my friend's dad once again puts the beer on top the grave. And this time he didn't even finish putting the beer down. That can of beer is full can. He didn't even finish putting the beer down, and it shot like a rocket, like just like boom, real fast, right into the fence. And beer went flying everywhere. Because it was just like as soon as he set it down on the grave, it barely even touched the grave, and just boom, like a rocket into the fence, and it kind of exploded. Like, and dude, we all ran so fast, ran all the way back to the car, and we weren't going back up there to try again. That was enough for the day. And I know it's a really hard story to believe, but it really did happen. I wouldn't lie to you guys. The shit I seen with my old eyes, and I would love to go back there. It kind of reminds me of the movie It too, where they get the same group of guys that were friends when they were younger. That's exactly how we were. We was all 13, 14, 15 years old. So I'd love to take that same group and go back there like now and see if it still works. I don't know if it would or not. And I'd like to investigate like why. And a lot of people have different theories about this girl died got murdered from her dad that was drunk. That was a story that I heard, but I really would like to like look up in the paper and see exactly what happened and why this little girl doesn't like beer. And I have so many more ghost stories I want to tell you guys about, but this video is already starting to get long as it is. So I definitely have a part 2 to this, maybe even a part 3. I want to thank you guys so much for listening to my story, and you guys have a great day today.
Nope. My hands are occupied.
With whose penis?
My penis.
You don't need 2 hands for that. Who you kidding?
No, I do. You know how long my pee is, dude? I need to use 2.
2. You must have tiny hands.
Yo, you just burned your ass, man. You can't even come back from that.
That was a
That's
good
tough.
burn.
That's fucked up.
Fucking whore.